You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. All right, glassless Cappy. I left him upstairs, but I'll get an ocular migraine anyway. We have a request, and if you have an original request where you want me to talk about what I want to talk about, but I never get around to it because people always have their requests over at Asshole Consulting. You can go to assholeconsulting.com where I'm happy to talk about what I want to talk about for a change. This guy says, "Here, how much for like an original?" I'm like, "It's $35. You paid the 35. Here we are. Let us talk about my corporate managerial genius. As many of you know, I am a honors graduate, summa cum laude. That's actually true. From none other than the Carlson School of Management, the Harvard of Hennepin County, the Princeton of the Midwest. No doubt many of you have heard of it. And if you have children, absolutely do not send your kids there, and you should not be going to business school anyway. But many years ago in the 90s, this was when the diversity stuff was starting to be sprinkled in, and you had a bunch of know-nothing professors who never worked in the corporate world, and yet they were teaching us stuff about corporate America. That's where it started. And what I acutely remember was the push. See, I was originally an economics major, so there's a little bit of philosophy and thought that goes into it. And I went to finance, of which is just like, how many dicks you gonna suck today? You think I'm joking? Anyway, it was very clear to me that it was not your contribution to society, your value and worth to society. Certainly was not whether you were a good father or a mother, whether you had a family. That was long gone. This is where did the girl boss come from? It came from Gen X. All this woke stuff came from Gen X. We're in command now. But it was taught to us back in the day. But it made it very clear to me and to everyone else that your value to society was not your profession, which to me, as a previous econ major, I'm like, BS, that is your value to society. I mean, from a financial standpoint, from an economic standpoint. Whereas, let's say you're a surgeon and you're paid a lot of money in a surgery. Yeah, but I like to give back to the community. And they're big about that. Give back to the community. I would raise my hand. I would say, didn't him saving lives give back to the community? Like, I didn't understand. Look, it's a transaction, right? He gets paid for it so he could go and live his life and support himself. But he did good for society. You know, you don't have to be a surgeon either. You could be a street sweeper. You could be a barista. Anyone who is doing their part, their share, you're a landscaper, whatever. Oh, I want to give back to the community. Excuse me. Wasn't the freaking, literally hectares of acreage that you landscape and beautified, isn't that what you've given to community? And so I never understood this. Like, you must go beyond your profession. And of course, they said, well, in beyond your profession, which I would argue is good enough. They said, no, you must have some kind of moral, noble politics. Of course, it's politics. These are Marxist teaching. They even didn't know they were Marxist, but that's why. And it was always of the leftist variety. You must donate to the poor. You must raise money for the children. You must, environmentalism was very big. Oh, you must go and help out with the environment. Are you hiring minorities and diversity, that kind of thing? Do you support the correct and popular thing that your corporate and political and academic overlords told you to? I'm a good person. And this was before I thought humans were imminently brainwashable or perfectly brainwashable. I'm like, they're going to see through this. This is BS. What do you mean? I got a CPA. I sat in school for 6 years, paid $120,000, except for all years of my youth gone. I balanced taxes and debits and credits. So there's my contribution to society. But no, people believed it. My generation fell for it hook, line, and sinker. They gobbled that cock down and said, okay, not corporate, academic overlords, whatever you want to shoot into my back of the throat. And they did. And so there's an entire generation of people, Gen Xers predominantly, who have it hardwired not only into their corporate leadership and career ethics, that it's not good enough that you're the HR director or that you're a foreman or a lineman or a plumber, you have to do something beyond that. And I would argue not only does it go beyond your career and profession, where it's like, okay, did you donate to the United Way? Because many people in my generation and younger have nothing but their career. The only thing outside of their career would be the politics that they previously were nudged into or kind of crowbarred into having before. And you see that like on people's dating profiles and, oh, I donate to whatever. You know, I got hobbies, but they ain't politics. They're fun. Like motorcycle riding. I'm going to go shoot some guns today. I got practice drawing. I got a new gun, by the way. I got a 45, first 45 I've ever had. I am not getting spooked by a mountain lion again. And I'm going to win the fight. And could have go up against no mountain lion with a 9mm. I'm like, hey, this just hits your ear. It's going to take off your head. Not that I talk to mountain lions frequently. But I have things to do in life. I like cliff jumping into water. I like hiking, video games, whatever. When these people go home without family, oh, they've abandoned religion. Worship Christianity. You fools. Meanwhile, they're bowing down at the altar of what? Yeah, feminism, environmentalism, simpism, cats. I don't know what they're very boring. So they have nothing else. And so this is a huge influence, not only in their corporate world, but I'd say their home life as well. And so now what's happening is it's been what, 25 years, almost 30. My generation, these people are the ones in charge. And a lot of you are like, why are they doing this? Why are they putting politics into everything? And as I pointed out before, it's because they don't know any better. I would also argue that they had very incredibly easy lives. None of these people heading up corporate America went through a Great Depression. None of them had to budget. They, either got bailed out by their parents or the government, or they just refinance and roll over debt. None of these people had to be efficient and produce a really good service or product. Otherwise, they would sink or swim. I remember, I've told the story before, dropped down to 118 pounds in college. I had to make it count. I know what the value of $1 is. Most of these people are from the suburbs or had some kind of life set on easy mode thing. So they've never had to, sink or swim. It's always been, they always had kind of like a cheat code or a semi-God mode, either through fiscal policy, monetary policy, or bailouts outright, especially in banking. So you have what I'm saying is adult children who don't know how to run companies and are so far removed from the concept of making a good product that's profitable. And more important to them is their politics. It's not their profession, it's the politics, because they got nothing else in life. And so that's why I had to look up her name, LaTanya something or other. That's the black lady there. She was the diversity head of Disney, which is absurd to have a diversity head at any company, but that's all right. And Kathleen Kennedy, who has done nothing but destroy the brand of MCU. And she in no, Disney certainly, and Lucasfilm. I'm sorry, Lucasfilm. And a lot of you are saying, why are they doing this? Why are they ruining Indiana Jones? Why are they shoving politics like that? The concept doesn't matter if it's conservative or liberal, libertarian. Putting politics into any product is bad. Same thing with Bud Light. Like what? Why would she do that? The lady who was in charge of the Bud Light. She was a 35-year-old idiot. Maybe a little bit on the younger side, but she was a moron. She too was indoctrinated with politics over profits or politics over profession. And so that's why there is this inconsistency where the regular, normal movie going, beer guzzling, product and service consuming public, we don't want politics in our goods and services. We don't want politics in our gas. Right? We want good gas. We want good movies. They don't. It's almost like you can't get that concept through to them. And so what they've been told, and they're not entirely incorrect in this one regard, not only have they been told that the number one thing about them is their politics, But I've said this before. The government, we're now on our probably third full generation where K through college has indoctrinated, coming up on the third generation, Zoomers, millennials especially, X a little bit less, but the Zoomers especially, that the most important thing about you is the traits you were born with, whether that's your race or your gender or your sexual preference or whether or not you have a mental disorder, whatever it is. that is for certain and true. And just like we laid down, well, probably multi-trillions of dollars if we adjust for inflation over the decades, the United States federal government laid down the interstate system, starting with Eisenhower over decades, trillions if we adjust for inflation to today. Just as you would modern day corporations take advantage of that infrastructure, the interstate system, to make profit, make money, so too do the marketing departments of modern day corporate America say, look, everyone worships the fact they stand in a mirror saying, oh my God, I got a black penis. Oh my God, I'm a Latina. And that's the most important and amazing thing about me. And that's another reason why they're kind of skewed to go towards that, but abandon whether or not the damn product or quality is good. Or you can even say, not even traits that you're born with, but traits you have, like, for example, fat acceptance. Like, oh my God, Slay Queen, you go into this normal people who don't want to die early of cardiac arrest, who say that's gross, that's disgusting. They're targeting that. So that is just greased the skids. This traitism, this lie that the most important thing about you is the color of your skin, your plumbing down below, or whose genitalia you like to lick. That's a lie. But a lot of people have been indoctrinated by that, and they think that's the most important thing. It's like, oh my God. Pride Month? Yeah, it's June. We have 24 more hours of this. Oh my God. You're not straight? Hey, come to Target. We just so loves the gazies, which should be condescending. But anyway, so what this has created now is, getting back to the point, you have corporations that are not being headed up by Gen X, who are trying to be popular, who are short-sighted, who know this infrastructure of Traitism has been laid down. They're trying to capitalize on that. And what they have done is disproportionately hired a bunch of women and minorities into their various positions of power. It's through affirmative action. I'm not going to argue this. This is just what's happening. And I'm using Disney as an example, although we can see it everywhere. And there's nothing wrong with hiring women or minorities, but when you hire them for their traits and not their abilities, especially when an entire generation of them have been like just inculcated and pickled, sat in vinegar of the most important thing about you is your traits, shock and amazement. What do they produce? Nothing but absolute garbage that plays to other people's traits. And this is why I'm using Disney as an example, but this can go and apply elsewhere among corporate America, where they make horrible movies. Take the politics out of every Disney. Take Strange World. Take out the gay kiss. Take out Lightyear. Take out the nothing but hundreds of vaginas running around in the Lord of the Rings or the Star Wars or Phoebe. I remember the name Phoebe in the Indiana Jones that's coming up. That's just going to be a debacle. Remove all the identity politics and ask yourself, is it a good movie? And the answer is no. These are not good movies. And the reason why is not only do we have corporate leaders and executive teams who have been inculcated in this wrong ideology of traits, all the underlings are also inculcated even to more of an extent, turned up to 12 if you're a millennial. Like, you look at all the creatives. All right, look at all the creatives. Not one of them, going back to my previous point, not a single damn one of them worked a real job in their life. Not a single damn one. These kids have had it on easy mode. And they don't know how to write characters. A lot of people complain about how, like, I can't get along with the characters. Critical Drinker, Endymion, It's a Gun. I can't associate. I can't relate to the character. These people never had to make friends. These people never suffered. They have no salt. They have no seasoning. They have no character. These are boring kids born on easy mode from the suburbs or heavily subsidized by the government. And then you come up with basic, sometimes, mostly it's just boring crap. All right. Also added, it's like, oh my God, it's a woman, like She-Hulk is an example. And then sometimes it's just psychopathic hatred, like Mandy Kaling with Velma, where that's just good. Okay, we get it. You hate white males. we get it. You're one pissed off psychotic bitch. All right, here's some more money. So because of that philosophy of politics over profits, politics over quality is what I would ultimately say, because quality leads to profits. Quality over profits over profession, profits over productivity, profits over quality, profits over whatever else. And it goes all the way down to your productive groups, your workers, and it's particularly glaring and pronounced when you get to go into a creative aspect, music, theater, television, and all that, where you could create whatever you want. Like, okay, Dove soap. Well, it's soap. Oh, but we attached a bunch of fat black women to it because we so care. All right, so you just got it. Calvin Klein, they're clothes, but we attached a bunch of non-binary people to it. All right, it's still clothes, but with fiction, essentially. You can come up with it, and that's all they know. All they know is misandry and patriarchy. All they know is leftist politics. That's it. And that's the most important thing they have in life. You go look at the writing staff of pick anything, the Lord of the Rings people, not the Lord of the Rings of Power, Willow, any box office or television bomb. You go look at these people, they're boring people. You're not going to want to hang out with them. You can't fall in love with them. They're NPCs, the robots. And you're shocked that they can't write a human being. You're shocked they can't come up with a good product or quality. All they know, because that's all they've been taught, is take the white penis and replace it with a Latina vagina and maybe throw it in a wheelchair. Oh, whoa. This isn't Lloyd Alexander. This is not Tolkien writing. These are the adult children of America who grew under truly privileged conditions with no challenges. I grab your average Iraqi and Afghani vet, they'll write a better story because they've seen shit. All right. But not pampered little Miss Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, what problem did she possibly go through? Because if she had any struggle in her life, this pie in the sky worthless bullshit wouldn't have made it. Anyway, so because almost top down, what's governing the corporate managerial class as well as their underlings, nearly all of corporate America, is your politics over profit. We are getting not only woke politics in every kind of possible product, movie, and all that, it's also very poor quality. So like I said before, remove Cleopatra, the Black Cleopatra is a perfect example. The show was still shit. Remove all the pathetic, limp-wristed soy and estrogen actors and actresses that participated in Rings of Power. Just remove them all. Okay? It was still shit because the people who are producing it are shit. Not morally, they have no talent. Their talent is shit. And like, oh my God, what are they going to produce? They're going to produce shit. Now, let's introduce the Economist again. Here comes Cappy. Bad news, Cappy. Bringing in the bad news. But the bad news just called reality, because that's what it is. He's not a pessimist, just a realist. Here comes the bad news. I think it was... he did a financial analysis of the past couple of years of Disney's movies. And I think the cumulative losses have been 800 million, depending how far back you want to go. And I don't care how thoroughly inculcated the managerial philosophy is or the work ethic is, or all of the working corporate American workers' personal philosophies are about politics over profits. The reality is that you need to make money, you need to make a profit, otherwise you will not have a company. Not only because the company will go bankrupt, long before that, the owners of the company, whether that's an individual or shareholders, or more commonly at this level, which would be asset managers, mutual fund managers, things like that, they're going to say, hey, you're losing money. And hey, our stock values are going down. And hey, you wonder where the backlash is going to come from. It's going to come from this. It's not like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and a handful of these ultra capitalists own the majority of the share. The majority of stock is owned by pensions and retirement funds. And so when the union guys, what few remain that actually do real blue collar work and trades work now, find out that prissy little bitch Kathleen Kennedy, or want to make believe adult, the other gal of the diversity and inclusion hire, is destroying and undermining their pension values and their pension funding, and consequently when they can retire, what kind of standard of living. Essentially, they're affecting this woke BS when it cascades down, is going to lower people's retirement standard of living. Not to mention rich people probably want their money too. Not to mention corporate executives are paid based on profits going up. So at least at the C-suite level, whoever the new CEO dipshit of Disney is this time, they're gonna be like, oh. But ultimately, so there's the investors that could be like, hey, you're changing your tune. You're gonna start making products that have profit and quality. But ultimately, in the end, even if the investors are, let's say all the men die in America, and the women, because women live longer than men. This is entirely untrue. Women disproportionately have a higher percentage of the wealth because the men die and leave it to their wives, is basically how that goes. And then women are just like, oh my God, I just love the socialism so much because I was told to in K through college. And so I want to have whatever. I want to invest in environmentally friendly mutual fund. I want to invest in ESG only companies, which once again puts profits over politics. Puts politics over profits. You'll run out of money, and then there just won't be any money. You'll have you could have whatever, 30 billion in cash sitting in your account. Might take years, might take decades, but if you keep losing money, all of a sudden there ain't no money there. Now you can't pay your employees, you can't pay your vendors, and Disney shuts down. Now that's unlikely to happen because Disney's theme parks generate a tremendous amount of profit to subsidize basically the special needs division, which is their movie and Disney Plus and wherever Kathleen Kennedy and the make-believe adults, play patty cake. And Marvel, that's another one. That's like a bunch of, I'm just picturing like this daycare, with a bunch of kids shitting their pants, except it's a bunch of Disney execs, drawing smearing crap with their feces. That's a really good drawing, little Kathleen. You did good. You drew Phoebe with an attached dildo screwing Harrison Ford. That's a good drawing. But inevitably, reality has to rule. You have to have profit. Otherwise, you don't have a company. I don't care. And now I've also speculated the federal government would actually probably come in if the politics are agreeable enough with the federal government. They're like, well, we'll just print off another $30 billion and Billy L. Disney. Keep telling them what we want to hear. But removing that, which is speculation down the road, what this faces investors, ultimately the investors, and the corporate executive and the board of directors of all these corporations, they're going to have to face the fact that all this woke diversity, basically profits, politics over profits, is not sustainable, is not tenable. And they're going to have to start firing people who subscribe and believe and are, I would say, to a zealot level, a fanatic level, are wedded to these woke leftist diversity politics because it's not congruent with reality. Because you're not making good products. By the way, by the way, you're not making any minorities or women happy producing crap movies. Okay. You're not serving them. And so what they're going to have to do, there is going to be a purge. And because there's been such a emphasis on affirmative action and hiring women and minorities over people who might be more qualified, especially those who have this, it's almost a, what's the word I'm looking for? This diversity woke traits uber profits traits over reality. It's almost a mental disability. Are you going to convince Kathleen Kennedy to start making good? Are you going to convince the writing staff? Are you going to convince any of these writers in Hollywood? They're like, hey, don't put your politics in the thing and maybe write good stuff. Not only will they not do it, they can't. They don't. I argue again. They come from privileged backgrounds and very soft. All right, but so you're not going to get Kathleen Kennedy. You're right. Hang on. Let me change trajectory here. I got some really good scripts I wrote. I got some really good ideas that everyone's going to like Die Hard. She doesn't have it in her. And because you've hired these ideologues and they're not capable of producing it, you're going to have to fire a lot of these people disproportionately because you've disproportionately hired women and minorities. You're going to disproportionately have to fire some women and minorities. And I'm here to tell you guys in corporate America, all you S&P 500 types, you Fortune 1000 types, right? You all got your MBAs. I run a company called Asshole Consulting. It's better than Bain. It's better than McKinsey. It's better than whatever, Accenture, whatever, because they were just like, oh my God, more black vagina. Right? That's the thing. You should sell to the kids on their politics, right? Well, that's why you're here now. You tell me strategy that came out of corporate America, the consultants, that is anything different than that. Past 20 years. What? Any new tricks? And my philosophy is one of reality. Good quality products at a good price. I know it's boring. I know it's Snoresville, but your job is not to be some crusadering Marxist bitch saving the world or the environment. Your job, in the case of Disney, is to make good movies and entertain people. Your job at Bud Light or Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, is to make crappy piss beer so the white people of America never get to taste better beer. I don't know what I saw. I live in South Dakota, right? As red as a state as you could get. And here's this stereotypical white American hick. And he comes out, his no shirt, he's got his gut. He's in one of these like temporary living homes, like where the poor people live because he can't even afford a trailer. He cracks open a Bud Light. I'm like, buddy, have you looked at the internet? Like, all right, just drink your Bud Light, whatever. I forgot where I was going with that. I'm just picturing this guy with his gut, the sun beating down on him. You have to make products people want. That's going to be the new edgy consulting managerial trend and book. It's the new fad, which just goes back to the base. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Guys, corporate America, I don't care if the CFO or the person on the line making the widget, your job is to make good widgets at a good price. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry that we're on 3 generations, and I would implore the millennials and the Zoomer generation to realize, look, you can have politics, participate in your private life and your politics, but you're perfectly good enough being an accountant. You're perfectly good enough being a gun cleaner. You're perfectly good enough being the manager of a car wash. All right, you're contributing to society. You don't need to contribute more to society, and you sure as hell better not put your politics into your corporate world, your corporate life, your working world, your career world, and especially not your product, because invariably you're just going to alienate half the people, and you're going to start losing money. And so for you corporations, you could say you heard it here first. This wasn't a report by the Harvard Business Review because they got their heads up their asses. And you're going to have to start firing women and minorities. You're going to have to you're going to have to change your entire woke thing. And you're going to have to, and you can hire new women and minorities who have talent, who can produce the goods. And by the way, and I'm aware. This is a train. This is a freight train filled to its maximum capacity, going as fast as it can to a bridge that's out. I know I'm not going to stop them. They're too ideologically wedded. They're too old, too. You're not going to get, I think Kathleen Kennedy, younger boomer, you're not going to convince her that the most important thing about her isn't her vagina. It's just, and you're not going to convince, like, look, you ruined, like, you shat on the Sistine Chapel. You're just a very, you're worse than a worthless person. You're economically actually a destructive person. You're not going to get these people to give up their diversity managerial philosophy. You're not going to they're not, because because then they're going to have to admit, oh crap, not only was I doing the wrong thing this entire time, I got no skills. Like, remove the politics from She-Hulk writers. What do they got? Nothing. Bunch of washed up, middle-aged, pissed off, about to become spinster gals that just really have no point and purpose in life. Now they'd have to figure out something else. No. They're going to double down. They're going to keep doing this until they're dead. And so what's going to end up happening is where I'd say, well, you should hire people who are talented. Minority, not women, are not just talented people. But the talented people are already starting up their new one. Critical Drinker had a young black man on to show you that it's not white men that have monopoly on talent. This guy's just started his own comic, and I think it sold millions. And I don't even think it's political. I think it's just straight up. There's Shadowmare comics. They're just doing a Dungeons and Dragons type of thing. Theodore Beale, Castile Publishing House, they're doing their own things, self-publishing. People are going their own way. Especially within the creative industry and as techno. I did my own thing. I'm not going to wait for a New York publishing house, some asshole with a stick up his butt over in New York or London to, oh yeah, we'll approve your book. I'm writing this book and people are going to buy it. I'm not waiting for these people. So we are going to replace, and not today, not in our generation, but don't be surprised. 100 years from now, yeah, it started out he doing comic books in his basement, and then now he's the number one comic seller. He goes head to head against the manga. Or look at all these books. The books right now, I think self-published books outsell the officially ordained by the publishing houses, Simon and Schuster. Oh, like those guys are dead. But that's where the future is going to be. And I think the ego and the lack of real world experience, the lack of pain and suffering, having life on easy mode, having nothing known but your entire life philosophy of politics is the most important thing, not actually having any skill or ability. There's no way the Fortune 1000 or the Fortune 500 or the Fortune, not a single one of them are going to go and say, hey, remember when we had funny commercials like the Energizer Bunny or Progressive with Flow, which they still do? Remember how that was funny? And people said, I have a positive opinion about that now. It's going to keep on going. It's going to keep on going because they don't know. And it's going to have to be a new generation with a completely different philosophy on managing a business. And it better be that you make good quality products at a good price for everyone, because that's all it's going to ever be. And until it's that, you're still going to have problems and you're going to start to lose money. And so there you go. So I have gotten way more joy out of watching the politics, especially of Hollywood, just lose money hand over fist. Just watch these people who now the other side of having a political philosophy of generally leftism as a managerial philosophy is you also hate people like me, libertarian, white male. You do. Sorry, not all people, but like, okay, I get it. White male's bad. I just like seeing them lose money. And more so than that, for those of you who are always pissed off about, I can't believe they took this character or they ruined this great American classic or whatever else. I'll give you a perfect example. The Jada Pinkett Smith. I didn't know she was on the Cleopatra Black show. Absurd, stupid. That woman just wasted how much of her time in life? Look at how much time in life they're wasting. Look at that. This is why I say you got to have better hobbies than leftist politics. And you should have better hobbies than all politics, not right-wing politics. That's not exactly better. These people. Look at Kathleen Kennedy. Her legacy will be one that, like, yeah, they just ruined this really great story. This great fun thing everybody enjoyed. She ruined hot dogs. She ruined ice cream. I don't know how you do it, but she did it. She ruined it. Oh, she doesn't believe it. She's in her own little echo chamber, made lots of money. But as time goes on, history goes on, this woman and all these other people who are like, we're going to just do this, but with vagina. Not only are they losing their employer's money, they're wasting their lives. They could have been doing something else. I mean, something that they were good at. I don't know what it would be. They could have had family time. They could have done anything better. But this is what they did. And I don't know about you, but at the end of work, I like to see a good finished product. Like, I got books out, right? Some sell better than others. One book I wrote called How Not to Become a Millennial. That's, I think, my best writing. Be perfectly honest, it's my best writing, if you had to ask me. That one bombed. Don't care. It's still a good product. I still like, look at that. I didn't write something and then everyone's like, this is horrible. This is Puma Man, if you guys get that reference. This is Ishtar. And that would be like, gee, I wasted my life, or at least the life I spent on that. These people are wasting their lives. Like She-Hulk, all the writers there are now a butt joke. The poor actress who does, I mean, she's a good actress, but she's now tainted by that. The people with rings of power, I don't know one. Look, they all look like weak, pansified British people. Every single actor in that thing, I don't even watch it. I just saw the screenshots and everything. Where is there a drop of testosterone in any of these? But they just like limp-wristed, like, you're a warrior? Where's Viggo Mortensen? You're a warrior? Where, huh? And that will be their legacy. We made this really crappy 100% vagina juice sappy remake. It's just horrible. So there you go. I would, and they're not gonna, this video isn't gonna change a damn thing. It's just gonna put sand in their vaginas. They're gonna get pissed off. That's all they're gonna do. And then they're gonna wonder why corporate stock prices are going down. I don't know. If that could be a total, like, a corporate raider, like, now what could happen, Disney's prices, using Disney example, could go down so low that a corporate raider could come in, buy it for pennies on the dollar, fire everyone, take these IPs and, like, get some real writers back in here. Well, it'd be great if someone did that and says, we are decanonizing everything in the woke era. As a matter of fact, we're burning it. We're destroying it. Whatever copies are out there, but it's no longer in our vaults. We're destroying all of it. And we no longer back that up. It is no longer canon. It is no longer history. We apologize for our previous predecessors who destroyed these great works of American culture. And we vow to make good stories. All right, so there you go. Do we got any super chats? We got some super chats. Thank you very much. Today's super chats. I got the pricing for the gravel. I'm getting gravel. I'm getting 5 1/4 cubic yards of gravel. It's going to be just shy of $300. Then, so I'm not joking. All of today's super chats go to pay for gravel and a dump trailer I got to rent because I do manual labor. Unlike all these other soft pussies that work in Disney and Amazon and all the other places where they just like, let's write about our feelings and how much we hate men. My truth, $2. What we need to do is close the gender wage gap. I'm 100% with you. That's why women should stop majoring in dumb stuff for a dozen years now. Worthless. Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. That has been out for a dozen years. Young women, if they read it and did what was in the book, they would have closed the gap that year. And I am all for closing the wage gap. That's why I strongly endorse women go into STEM and the trades, and they work as many hours as men. And then you will close the wage gap. You girls will. Well, I don't want to. Oh, it's too bad. Then you won't close the wage gap. Red Hawk, $5. All of the crying environmentalists couldn't even tell you where Zion National Park is. It's all a bunch of BS. Well, there's also the online effect. Someone, Kindle, Kindel, he was talking about how all these Hollywood studios mistake tweets as legal tender, as money. It's like, no, those aren't money. Those aren't dollars. It's kind of the same thing with the environmentalists. They're just online. I know I've been very hard on the managerial classes of corporate America, whose corporate philosophy and life philosophy is leftist politics. That could be applied, though, I'd say 80% of the American population in corporate management or not. And all they got is their leftist politics. Like, I'm for the environment. Meanwhile, they drive a car they don't maintain. It gets bad gas mileage. They don't have solar panels, whatever. And they just do that on the internet. They don't actually go to Zion Park. That would require they get off their ass and go do something. My Truth, $20 generous dollars. I like to call it Henpeckism, typical of the generation following the greatest generation, full of brave, strong men. We can't thank the boomer generation enough for having never grown a spine and molding millennials. Yeah, those baby boomer men really were kind of on autopilot, weren't they? They're a little asleep at the helm. I mean, without them, thank God they were there, because otherwise, Asshole Consulting would have never existed. There'd be no need for my books. Think of the industry, and not even this narrow focus of the red pill industry or, how to be a man or anything like that. Think of how much wisdom boomer men failed to pass on, and how many people now make their living teaching other people. Like, we had to rediscover dating. We had to rediscover male-female dynamics. We had to rediscover financial planning. We had to rediscover health. All these podcasts and YouTubers and everybody out there who are like, hey, you weren't given the right information. Actually, you're given the wrong information by your teachers as well. It's employed many people, myself included. And this is why I have that course. I think I even have it linked below. It's on my Teachable. You can find this course called The Dad You Never Had, because most fathers didn't do anything to raise their kid. And certainly, oh, by the way, Gen X dads are not exactly up to par or snuff. What? Little Jessica wants to cut off her tits and she's 13? Okay, whatever you want, sweetheart. I just agree with all your leftist politics, so you touch my peen occasionally. Millennial dads, whoa! My course is going to be in demand for decades. Decades. Yeah, it's too bad. Drew, $5. Diversity, equity, inclusion coordinators are impossible to fire. They're going to have to. It's either the company goes bankrupt or they fire these people. Look, you could fire these people. You could fire women and minorities. They did it with they did not to go back to Disney all the time. It's just the epitomal example. There was I think a Latina lady who was also a lesbian, because that's really important. I think she was in charge of the CGI, and in her defense, she did some amazing work, but then her politics got in the way. She got fired. They fired or maybe she resigned. I don't want to put words in people's mouths. The idiot twit that came up with the Bud Light advertisement, I think she's gone. And then the actor who played Kang in Quantumania 3, they fired him. But I would say unjustly, because he merely got accused by a psychotic ex-girlfriend. Look it up, of inappropriate sexual stuff, to keep it polite and YouTube friendly. I love how I could say vagina, but I can't say other words. We can say vagina juice all day long, but we can't say certain other words. He has not been proven guilty. There's not been a court case. And if President Cappy was around, I'm like, I don't care if they're accused or not. You can't fire them until they're proved innocent or guilty of that. Just, not a big labor rights guy, but so far, he's not been proven guilty. But he got fired, and he was a black male. So and mine is more of a, like, I don't care what the political. Well, you don't understand that you don't have the political power to, like, no, you don't understand. There ain't going to be no money, and then there won't be a company. And not one CEO of one corporation is going to listen to me. They're not. They'll ride it until the company is dead, and then a whole set of new companies will come up, and there'll be a new Disney, or Disney will be bought out, and it'll be moved offshore where they don't have this woke dumbass politics, and it'll just be a brand name held in Dubai. We're like, no, we're not hiring a bunch of females or Hispanics. We're in Dubai. Matter of fact, we're going to hire a bunch of Arabs and Emiratis. And we're going to do this. We're going to make good products. And we're going to hire the best people, some of which will include women and minorities. If I had billions of dollars or more time, that's probably what I would do. I'll go look at these American companies that are just crippled by leftist, truly racist and sexist and bigoted politics in general. Wait for them to make crappy products, buy it 20 cents on the dollar, ship it out to the Middle East somewhere, probably Dubai. And like, okay, we're going to start making good movies again. And I don't care if it's an all straight white male Christian cast. We're going to have good plots with good people. Oh, but you don't have enough. Come to Dubai and sue me. Look, I probably gave some future trillionaire his idea and path to wealth. I wonder how these lawsuits are going to look down the road with these positions in place. Look, they invited what is his name? Dracula. They invited Dracula into their house. Now they're cursed. Now they got to deal with this. Not one diversity and inclusion person is going to be good for you. Not one. They're politically motivated. You should have it as a policy. You hire the best, not skin color, gender, any kind of other trait. But remember, the people who decided to create a diversity and inclusion or equity department are the ones who got brainwashed 25 years ago. This is their politics. Just there you go. Nonstop Dre, $2. Fat people are now a legal protected group in New York City. Good. Fine. Let's go give you another example. They're too politically protected. They have too much political power. They're going to die early. They're going to die. There's the brass tacks. Nonstop Dre, $2. A woman was late 40 times plus, but got paid millions. Well, which one? Like someone you worked with? Did you know, Mad? $2 Canadian. Imagine HR Karen asking you your pronouns and gender. Oh yeah. Like here's another thing. Before you guys sign up for corporate America, I've said this a million times. All right. I have a colleague I know who works for a large corporation, and now they're requiring not only him, but all the people within this company to put the pronouns in their emails. I would quit. You don't want to work for that company. You don't want to go into that world. Do you guys want to fight back? Do you really? Like, when do you draw the line? I'm amazed. I'm just amazed at what a bunch of spineless pussies, even the conservative, libertarian, simply not left Americans are. Oh my God. They're teaching our kids sexual stuff that they shouldn't at this age. I'm like, well, you're going to pull them up. Whoa, pull them out of school. Well, then my wife would have to stay home, or I would have to stay home. Then we couldn't afford our Range Rovers, and we couldn't pay for our MBA student loan debt. Well, we like our kids, but not more than the stuff we have in our house. Okay. This is why you're a minimalist, which, by the way, another course. Look, the less money you need, the less power these people got over you. And I made damn sure that, if literally at any point in my life, no matter how poor I was, I had enough money where they're like, We want you to put your pronouns. I'm like, nope, you're out an analyst. Goodbye. You're out a vice president. Get out. Good. See ya. And if enough of you do that, they'll be like, oh, crap. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Making aims to get my own thing going on. Like, hey, you should have been doing that a while ago. You don't have to tolerate this, guys. Not as a client, not as a customer, and not as an employee. They said, we're having you do pronoun. Like, no, I'm out of here. No, I'm not. Nope, I'm not. It's not going to happen. And all of a sudden, look, when they lose the sane people, like the productive people, they're over. Look, Disney, in theory, could get anyone they want to hire because it's still Disney, right? Look, they still can't make a profit. Could you imagine if the sane and functional, normal, everyday people just quit? Says, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Oh my gosh, they wouldn't. The lights wouldn't be on. Christoph and on $2. Wokesters squatting in corporate boardrooms. Fine. There's not going to be a board when the electric bill isn't paid because they ran out of money. There will not be a boardroom anymore. There won't be there'll be a boardroom. They're going to have a board meeting, but it can be in the dark and it'll be about absolutely nothing because the company doesn't exist anymore. Jack Dawes, $2. How familiar are you with James Lindsay? I've heard that name before. Not at all, but I have heard his name before. Drew, $2. I'm definitely going back for my CDL. Why not? Yeah, go become a truck driver. Go work at the local bar. This corporate, dude, it is no longer worth it working at corporate America. I don't work for the big four in accounting. Don't work for a Fortune 500 company. Just don't. Why would you? And the second they give you politics, the second, like, well, you got to donate to the United Way. We got a corporate. We're here to start. They're putting up flags, whatever variety, and it ain't the U.S. flag. Bye. I'm out of here. Where you got? Look, I come here to work and make widgets, not like listen to your speaker that you had. You shut down the entire factory line so we could hear somebody talk about whatever trans rights when we're a CNC milling machine factory over here. All right, I'm done with this. No, goodbye. It could all end tomorrow. It could. No, you guys got mortgages and student loans and car loans that you've signed up for. But if you took my course, Achieving Minimalism, Theory and Practice, which is open for enrollment the next 36 hours, linked, I think, indirectly below, or you could just search Aaron Clary Teachable Achieving Minimalism. You'll find, I don't know. Do you want to put pronouns in every email? How far back do you want that corporate cock? Do you want to just shoot it into your esophagus and not the back of your throat? How far deep do you want it? Drew, $2. Not a whole lot of woke BS in skydiving community. Yeah. Just man, go buy your food, get your solar panels, get your wood burning stove, find your little job, tend your little garden, and just leave these people the F alone. Leave the asylum. Christoph and on $5. Any remake of Cleopatra that does not use a short topless Greek Ptolemaic. See, I know how to pronounce that word. I listen to enough ancient history podcasts. Actress is doing it wrong. AGB, $5 new guy. Should I use a portion of 300,000 in savings to live in Thailand and get the girls? I'm 5'5", by the way. I like to keep working, but dating sucks here. Yeah, I would go. Absolutely. If you can work remote, go to Thailand, man. Look, I hate to be on the fence. I'm not on the fence. I'm in the right position. I'm not one who's like, oh, you're short, give up. It's impossible. Nor am I like, oh, you're short, you just got to work at it more, bro. I am 100% accurate and correct in my position that it presents a hurdle. And the shorter you are, the higher the hurdle is. And it's a big, important, one of the top 3 traits women look for is height. And your life is too damn short as a 5'5" guy to be trying to date in the West. Now, if you find a girl who's 4'9" and a short gal, sure, ask them out. But, they're like, well, you're only 5'5". Like, bitch, you're 4'9". What the fuck? Well, I want 6 feet tall. All right, fine. But go. Just go, man. Don't bring them back here. Don't fall in love. Don't propose to marriage. Please have your head about you. But yeah, go to Thailand, go Ecuador, South America. Have shorter people in general. Just letting you know. Go. You're not having success here, right? I love the backlash on the passport bros. You go fishing, you sit in a fishing spot for 2 hours, you don't catch no fish. What do? You go to a different spot. Guys are here decades fishing for girls. They don't get no girls. What do? You go to a different spot. And then all the girls like, oh my God, I can't believe. Like, dude, you weren't biting. Okay. And I came out to fish to catch some fish. Going to try another fishing hole over here. How dare you try? You just couldn't catch fish in the uncatchable fish fishing hole. Ah! Frankenfoot, $2. How far do you think AI will go? It will go as far as it will. I don't think it'll ever replace sentient human being. I just don't see it. I'm not an AI expert, by the way. Nonstop Dre, $2. Next month is White History Month. Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't get it. Isn't Jesse Lee Peterson black? Frank Monafano, our hiking agent in the field for $5. We're about to go back to the good old days. Perform or go home. You either generate revenue or burn revenue. Yes, but it's going to be at least decades, at least 20 years for this current bout of diarrhea to go through the digestive tract of corporate America. That this bout of the managerial class of diarrhea is going to take a while to go through. And it's going to have to replace with a new one. So in the meantime, as I've said many times before, it's self-employment and minimalism. There is no way you should be going to one, to be taxed at 40%, 2, to suffer politics, and 3, to suffer the psychopathic environment of corporate America. Forget the politics. It already was. How do you think Scott Adams got so popular? No, it's save your money. Spend only what you need. Do everything you can yourself. Work remote, multiple sources of income. Just it's to inoculate yourself. Look, do you guys want to work for Kathleen? Could you imagine working at Disney? Could you imagine that? Some people have to because they're young. I want to break into Hollywood. Not going to happen. Glenn Lawrence, subscribe to his channel, please, guys. $10. The quickest way to shut down an actor's career is to accuse him of something sexual. Yeah, you're in the field. Glenn, by the way, professional bodybuilder and actor, so he's in the business. What happens is his career growth stops, and they pay thousands to clear their name. Right, and I bet you never come back fully. Which is why I would be like, okay, did you fire him? He has been proven guilty. All right, well, you're going to get sued now. Wrongful fire. I'd be like a hawk, man. I'd be a hawk. They'd be like, well, it hasn't been. Well, then it better get to trial. And whatever happened, like innocent man, innocent woman. AGB, $5. Wanted to get married at some point, but you showed me how dangerous marriage is. Losing the blue pill programming still hurts, but thank you. Look, you know what's going to hurt a lot more? Not getting rid of that blue pill programming. Look, you can, with intelligence and some critical risk assessment abilities, you could still get married in the right cultures. But that's not the West. That is adamantly not the West. All right, you got to look at the laws. This is not a philosophical argument. This is not an emotional argument. This is not an argument of hatred or retribution. This is a legal argument. You look at the marriage laws in the United States. You look at how judges are ruling. You watch a game. There's Team Blue and Team Red. And the referees are giving baseball bats to Team Red to beat the crap out of Team Blue. And then everyone on the sidelines, why don't you go play for Team Blue? You should go play for Team Blue. No. You don't go play for Team Blue. You say, I'm going to find another field where they're not murdering people on the field. Generation Apollo, $5. Wokeness doesn't just cost money, it costs lives. Ask OceanGate how well not. Yeah, not hiring old white guys work from. I wonder, though, to be perfectly intellectually honest, was that taken out of context? Like, I criticize white people as well, a lot of times out of humor, because let's just admit it, sometimes there's some funny things about different people of different traits. You know, it's kind of what humor is about, but we can't do that anymore. But I'm also critical of white people in a constructive manner sometimes. was he just saying, was he kind of being the, you don't want a bunch of old white guys? Like, I could see that. Like, yeah, I get what he's going for. But I do recall Joker at Better Bachelor said that they got rid of an old white guy who was like their safety guy or raised some safety concerns. Well, okay. Now that it comes out of malice, now it's kind of like, ha ha. So, yeah, I just, I, I see, I want to protect the freedom of speech. And above all else, I want to be able to make fun. I want to have humor. And sometimes because that's the thing about, we pick on Anthem all the time about being a Mexican. I'm doing a ton of yard work out there. I take a picture of the yard, like, what a sad day when the white man has to do Anthem's job. That's funny. It's funny. Do I hate Anthem? No. He's one of the greatest gay friends I've ever had. All right. But if we can't pick on him, matter of fact, there'd be a good legal case to say all this you can't pick on each other because of traits you were born with. We could say that's sexist because that's how men do it. What else do we got to pick on each other for? You take away gay jokes, racial jokes, other kind of height jokes, you take away all the traits that we got to make fun of people. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? We're stuck with being women, paying each other compliments we don't believe. Hi, Atham. That's a nice shirt you have on today. Is it? Thanks, Aaron. Stabbing each other in the back, trying to steal each other's woman. Hey, knuckle nuts. Oh, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. Non-stop trade $2, but it's easy for Cappy to be a minimalist. He's 5'3". Right. But caloric intake is a lot less. Everything's smaller. Me and Jet Li. It's just everything's small. Smaller car, better fuel efficiency, smaller motorcycle engine. Drew, $5. See? And he picked on me because I'm oh my God, were my feelings hurt? No, because I don't have sand in my fragile Democrat vagina. Man, those leftists are missing out on some good fun when you get to rip on each other. Aren't they? Aren't they missing out on some fun? They are. What do you mean, Hispanic? Drew, $5. James Lindsay wrote fake college papers and got them. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. It's pretty hilarious how they got over on academia and got the papers published. Yep. Well, some of those social sciences and the liberal arts are so, they're not only are they pointless, but the people in charge know it's pointless. It's just a money-making operation for them. So they have to go through the facade of making academic sounding papers. They probably just push that right through. Yeah. It gets published in some obscure journal. I know someone who had to get their doctorate. Like, well, I got to get published. I'm like, how does that work? So you have to go to like this accredited or certified publication. It's got to get published. And you look at these publications, I'm like, these publications only exist so PhDs can get their shit published. That's it. Has no bearing on the real world. It's all a bunch of hooey and hokum. My truth, $5. Cappy. So you mentioned RP Thor's lineman course. Yes, please take it. Look at Red Pill Thor. It's on Gum Road. Was he a lineman? He was a lineman for 38 years. He set up his own. He built and installed his own solar panel system. Yes, this is one of the foremost experts. Yes. Why he leave the trade? I think he just got retirement money. He's 60 years old. He's old as hell. But then also his wife got in a life-crippling accident. She was paralyzed from the neck down. Thankfully, she started getting feeling again. He's been dealing with his wife for the past 2 years, taking care of her. It's a horrible look. If you want to help him out, obviously he's charging for this. But if you want to become a lineman or you have a young man, a young woman, that was funny. Who wants to go make hundreds of thousands of dollars and not go to college and like have lifetime employment, please send it to Thor's course. Yes, please. Was he union or non-union? I think it was union. How's lineman overseas outlook? He can. I had a client from the United Kingdom who could come to the United States and make a lot more, but they were in demand over. Look, across all the world, all right, all these boys are playing the video games and jerking off to the prawn. There's a shortage of all trades, right? And women, despite claiming to want a strong, independent, we're the exact same as men, shockingly enough, they're not signing up to be like sewer engineers or linemen or tradesmen where they go out in the cold and do physical work or in the heat. They're just doing their diversity inclusion, playing with their hoo-ha game. All right. So there is a desperate shortage for real workers. Right. We got a surplus of journos. We got a surplus of diversity and inclusion majors. We don't have linemen. So I would absolutely look into it. Goth Rocker, $5 generous dollars again. Will never get married and done with American women. Work too hard for everything I have. Yeah, it's not even the money. It's just the damn principle. Half and in divorce. And then on top of it, there's the financial risk. Let's look at it. Scottie Pippen's divorce. That's been going on 7 years. No, absolutely no, absolutely not. Absolutely. And most women get fat as they get older. No, I don't care how cheap that sounds, ladies. That's the facts. Men want to have sex until they're dead. You can either help them with that and love the guy or not. And, I'm objectified. That's fine. You have that choice. But don't expect men to be proposing when you're 300 pounds. The whole idea, I know it's outside the scope of this thing, but I'm fascinated with the dating, romance, courtship, marriage environment in the United States and the West, where no one considers what men want. Like, it doesn't factor in. It's just fascinating to me. Like, well, what do men want? Never seen an article. What do men want? Very simple. It'd be a very short article, but it never comes up. I'm like, wow, this is to analyze only one side of a formula and think you're going to figure it out. All right, we all caught up. We're all caught up. All right, so link below. I think I have a couple links. One to my Amazon affiliate program. If you guys kindly would do all your Amazon shopping through that link, you can bookmark it, or you can go to olderbrother.com/donate. There's the Amazon link there. If you just want something you can remember, olderbrother.com/donate. Doesn't cost you anything extra. I get a 5% commission and cut. No, I don't know that you buy your rainbow colored dildos. I don't know. I don't care. So it's anonymous and secret and private. Also linked below is a link to my Subscribestar account or channel or whatever you want to call it. That's where I upload the Road Trip podcast. That's my membership thing. So it's $2 a month because I didn't want to be too pretentious. And then you get access to all those podcasts and a couple pinups of some girls that were very kind to give us pinups in the past, PG-13, back in the 2010s to 2014s, where girls like, hey, what do you think? Like, hey, I like that. That's nice. But those days are over. There's also links to my teachable courses, which are all predominantly financial related. There's Achieving Financial Excellence. That's kind of an introductory course on starting to get your financial act together. There's The Dad You Never Had, the one I mentioned before, especially if you didn't have a father. That goes over everything like retirement planning, careers, purpose of life, how to develop a work ethic, everything your dad should have taught you. And then also is the Achieving Minimalism Theory and Practice, which is my flagship product. That is $450 because I'm not effing around. And it's more than that because you have to add sales tax. That will close for enrollment at the end of June at midnight, 12:01 a.m. on the 1st. It's closed. So sign up for that. Then you have 45 days to complete the course. However, it's the sign up period. That one I issue sparingly because I'm sick and tired of trying to convince people to get their financial lives together. And usually if you invest $500 and you're like, oh, maybe I ought to pay attention this time. There's other reasons for it as well. Not least of one being that I'm greedy and I like money too. Yes, I do make a lot of money on those courses, but I don't know, you want to have retirement or do you not want to have retirement? That might be worth $500 for you. Something else to link below. That's about it. Do we have everything? We got everything. All right. Thanks for all the donations to buy gravel and a dump trailer. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.